Yo, what up? This is LST Magick, man. Y'all here rocking with Chicago Street TV, man. Y'all already know.
Back to catching bodies, you can't really watch my status. I be active with the guys on the block, but ain't no lacking. And if you snitching on the guys, you can't call yourself savage. And tell them pussy niggas what happened. I'm 25th and Hamlin.
What part of Chicago are you from?
So I'm from Little Village, Chicago, you know? Little Village. Man, that's home right there, you know what I mean?
So for people who ain't from the city, you want to describe what Little Village is?
Man, Little Village is like Little Mexico, you know? Like, everybody comes together right there, you know? Like, it's just the most Mexican neighborhood you got in Chicago, you know?
So what was it like for you growing up right there, and what is it like right now?
Man, growing up in there was, I mean, you grew up with everybody, you know what I mean? Like, everybody that your neighbor, your next block, everybody were like this, you know? Like, you grow, you play with them, you go to the park with them. That was back then. Nowadays, man, you can't even be with the same people no more, you know what I mean? It's just like, either they got a different lifestyle than you, or they're not, you know what I'm saying? They're just not your friend no more. You know, everybody goes their own different route, different path. Everybody just grows out of it, you know?
So being from Little Village, how did you get that name LST Magick?
Man, LST Magick, well, that's where I'm from, you know? That's home, you know? LST stands for Lawndale Street. And Magic, I don't know, I feel like I gave myself that, right? My own nickname. Because I feel like I wanted to do something for me instead of somebody do something for me, you know what I mean? Like, I gave that to myself. That's how I ain't really explain too much to it, but that's what it is, you know?
So developing of that name, what made you want to start rapping?
Man, I always loved music, man. Like, I always loved music. As a kid, waking up, you know, all the Latinos know, man, you got your Mexican mom getting you up in the morning, cleaning, you know, she's singing, you know. My mom has a beautiful voice, so, like, I got into music basically because of her, you know. Like, she used to sing, and then I started hearing hip-hop and rap, and I really captivated to that.
So what music did your parents listen to when you were growing up?
Man, rancheras, you know, they listen to, what else, man? Not even corridos, you know, my mom listens to the old Temerarios, you know, the old school, you know.
So growing up, what did you listen to?
Growing up, I listened to a lot, man. I listened to hip-hop, man, I listened to, rap, hip-hop, even some country, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I used to go to school, come home, and I get on my little laptop and just go to YouTube and watch just all type of music that caught my attention. I used to learn from everything, you know?
So you talked about like listening to hip hop and all that, and the rap that you listened to growing up. Once you started rapping, one of your tracks that you released that has generated the most views for you has been 4 Deep. Do you want to elaborate on the story behind 4 Deep?
Well, before 4 Deep, how I started rapping was I was rapping with another Chicago rapper from Inglewood, Billionaire Black, right? Like, that was my first major song, you know, and then I ended up getting locked up. So when I came back out, 4 Deep was like part of what I got locked up for, right? So it was like a story of that incident, you know?
Do you want to talk about the story behind your track Murderers?
Man, Murders was just for the streets, man. That was just for everybody to be like, okay, he on some demon mode, you know what I'm saying? He just trying to go crazy, you know what I'm saying?
And one of your latest tracks that you have released with the music video is Mad Max. You want to talk about the story behind Mad Max?
Man, Mad Max was just like a thing that just happened, right? So 360 Pooh, you know, he's one of the brothers too. He hit me up, hey, like, man, it's some shit dropping, you know, like, let's do a remix to something, right? So that was the hottest song that was out, and then we just dropped the video and did the song to it. So it just felt right, you know, doing the remix.
So one of your videos went viral where you had filmed. I'm not sure if it was live or not, but it was CPD, Chicago Police. They were like kicking down your door and slamming it really hard. You want to share the story of what happened, why were they there, and what happened afterwards?
So look, man, the story was so we was in the street. I was in the street, right? And man, it was late night. It was like around not late night, but it was like around 9 or 10. And I seen a crazy ass car pull up, right? And I don't know who it was. So I'm with my homie. I told my homie, man, just get inside. You know, we just outside like ducks, right? So get inside. So I guess when we got inside, all I heard was CPD, right? So man, I said, fuck that. I live there, right? I live in that building. So I go to my apartment and I just say whatever. Man, like 5 minutes later, all I hear is police open up, right? So I'm telling them, I ended up starting recording, right? And in the recording, I was telling them, man, y'all don't got no warrant to be kicking my shit down, right? They ain't get no fuck. They just kicking that bitch down as hard as he can. My homie sitting on the couch and shit, smoking a square like nothing and shit, but they were kicking that shit down, man. They were kicking at that door for a good 10 minutes before I started recording, right? So I recorded to the end. While I'm recording, I got it like this, and when they finally kicked that door down, man, all they had is guns drawn, right? So they thought that I had a gun, so I think that's how the video stopped, right? Because when they kicked the door in, I thought they had a gun. They thought I had a gun, and I thought they were gonna shoot my ass. So I was like, damn, I just put my phone down, but it stopped recording. So basically, they just said that they seen us with guns run in here in the crib. So they ramping my whole crib. I ain't gonna lie, I got kicked out that crib too because they kicked that door down. But fuck it.
So what happens afterwards? I mean, does it...
Well, they didn't even lock me up. They knew they fucked up. So they supposedly mailed me a letter and shit. But one lawyer got the wind of it and gave me a call, and I guess she want to sue. So let's see what happens.
That's an ongoing process?
Huh?
Ongoing process?
Yeah, it's ongoing process. I am.
So earlier you talked about coming out of jail. Do you want to talk about what was the experience like when you went into jail?
Man, I've been to jail a couple times, man, but I feel like 2013 to 2016 was like one of the worst, right? Because they charged me with first-degree murder. So that experience, I'm 16, 17, you know? So I'm a kid. And I've been locked up before that, but now it's something that in my head it's like, you're never gonna come home to this, you know? You from the hood where you hear stories of everybody just locked up and fighting them type of cases and then never come home. But that period of my time was like the worst experience because I lost a lot of friends, you know, that some passed away and some were went to jail too, you know.
So you've been locked up after you were 17?
Yeah.
So you've been to the juvenile and
yeah, I started as a kid, man. I was like 14. I caught my first gun case, you know. At 17, no, at 16, I got locked up for first-degree murder. And that was a month after I released my first song, my first video ever, was with Bitten the Black.
So what is the difference of experiences from being a minor to being when you're charged as an adult?
Man, as a minor is the sweetest thing. It's like they want you to go back to jail, you know? When you a kid and you go to jail, they want you to go back, basically. They feel you good. You know, especially like you growing up in the streets and you always in the streets, juvenile is where they feel you the best, right? When you get older and you hit that Cook County, man, it's just, you gotta be on the worst, you gotta be the worst type of person to live in that environment. Because if you soft, man, they're gonna just walk over you, you know? But that experience between juvenile and Cook County is a big ass transition.
So what was the process like going into Cook County Jail now as an adult?
Man, Cook County Jail is just like, you see everybody, right? Like everybody that you might know, and even people that you know, the ops, your homies, whatever. You never gonna see like somebody that you know and they're gonna be cool with you right at the bat, you know? They don't know you, so off the bat, you're a nobody, you know? But it's worse because you don't know nobody, you always gotta watch your back. And somebody could trick you. They could say they're from your hood and you don't know them and they could snake you, you know?
So being from the area that you're from, do you want to talk about if you ever been shot or shot at before?
I've been shot at a lot of times. Like, I mean, that's the trenches, right? Like, if somebody recognize you or whatever, you gonna get shot at. If you got enemies, you got ops, all that. But I've been shot. I got shot once. They shot me in the foot. But it was just like I didn't feel it, right? Like, I didn't feel it. I thought I just broke my ankle. Because how it happened, I just know, like, I twisted my ankle or whatever. That's how I feel, right? That I twisted my ankle. So I'm on the floor, like, looking at my homies, like, man, what's going on? He's like, you good? I'm like, yeah. I get up. As soon as I get up, my whole leg gave up on me, right? So I'm like, damn. I just look at my foot, and I just see all blood coming through it. So I guess the bullet hit this side and came to the other side. So it shattered my whole ankle.
So how old were you when this happened?
Man, this happened like 2021. I think September 2021. It's like 2 years ago. Like,
so when you got shot up, I mean, were you by yourself?
Nah, with my guys, with my homies, you know, we chilling, you know, eating pizza. Just shit happens, you know.
I mean, this happened like in front of a crib or at a restaurant or what?
Nah, it was just like in the neighborhood. I think in front of a school or something. I don't know.
So when you got shot, what happened after that? I mean, you went to the hospital or
well, yeah, I didn't see, the thing is when I got shot, like I said, I didn't feel it. I thought I broke my ankle. So I was going to say whatever, right? But when I seen that I actually got shot, one of my homies drove me. He just drove me to the hospital.
What hospital you went to?
Mount Sinai.
What was the process like when you went through? Do they ask you like why this happened? Or
yeah, of course they're gonna ask me what happened, how it happened, and I just, like I said, like I told you, I just got shot. That's it. You know, I don't know who shot me. I just got shot. I don't know who it was. I was just eating pizza. You know, police when they went in there and see me, I swear to God, they were laughing at me. Ah, motherfucker, you got shot. Ah, why they ain't hit you in your face? I swear to God, they was just crazy as hell. One officer, I forgot his name, but he told me that he was trying to see if his pen could go through my whole foot. That's how fucked up police are. Like, they didn't even give no fuck. I swear to God. So that's it.
So in that process, how does the hospital? How would you say Mount Sinai treated you? The nurses and all that, like the hospital.
To be honest, the nurses and the doctors, they treat you like they detectives themselves. Because they asking who shot you, how it happened. Like, why are you asking me this shit? You supposed to tell me if I'm in pain or not. You know what I'm saying? Fuck is you telling me who shot me? Why you care who shot me? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Fix my shit. So the guy, they were crazy as hell.
So were they able to successfully remove the bullet?
Yeah, the bullet was already out. It went all the way through, but I guess my bones were fucked up. They were trying to give me surgery. I think they hit me with that morphine shit. About to give me surgery, and last minute they said I didn't need that shit. So they let me out. When I got shot, they let me out like an hour later. They just wrapped my shit up and gave me crutches to go home. That's what they said.
So this happened a couple years ago. Like, how would you say your leg is now from that shot?
Nah, my shit is good, man. I could run, even though I'm a fat nigga, but I'm running.
So you said you were eating pizza. What pizza were you eating at?
Man, Pizza Nova, man. That's the spot, man.
Was it worth getting shot over to get that pizza?
Man, I already finished that pizza, so it was worth it. Maybe that's the reason I ain't feel it.
What advice would you give to a kid who's thinking about wanting to join a gang?
Man, chase the paper, man. Chase the money, man, because this life is not for you, man. Nowadays, even back then, but nowadays, man, niggas will tell on you just because they can. You know what I'm saying? Maybe before it was a little more like, you know, you shouldn't tell, nigga, you know. But nowadays, nobody does it. They get away with it. So I suggest if they want to turn, man, they should turn to the money, man. Chase the money.
So Chicago has a reputation of being known as like one of the biggest cities with the most gangs and the most violence. For anybody that is not from Chicago, do you want to let them know what it's like to be a member in the south side of Chicago? Man,
it's treacherous, man. You can't trust nobody, man. Everybody's gonna backdoor you. You hear me? It's hard to trust. It just and if you look a certain way, in any neighborhood you go, it's always gonna be some smoke. So you could be from California and you tatted up in the face, and you go to another neighborhood, they might shoot you just because they think you're somebody. No questions asked. So my advice is, you better come with. If you come to the city, you gotta know somebody. If you don't know nobody, then stay downtown somewhere in a hotel, man. This is for real. You don't know nobody, don't come around.
So going on with that question, for anybody that's not from the city, is there any hats? Can they just wear anything, any color, any hat?
I mean, I feel like now you could wear anything. But again, you could wear whatever you want. But if you in the wrong neighborhood and you wearing the different colors, automatically they're gonna think you're something you're not. You see what I'm saying? Like I remember one time there was this Mexican guy. He was in nothing. He came through another neighborhood wearing the different colors, and they shot at him only for that but he didn't know what colors to rock. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like nowadays you could wear any color you want. Just don't stand in a neighborhood that you don't belong to for a long time. You know.
So in your recent Instagram post that's going kind of viral, you had mentioned that Mexicans in Chicago don't use slang terms like SA or homes. You want to elaborate to the audience more about what it is that you're talking about?
I mean, in reality, that's true, right? We don't greet our homies or like that. We greet them. Oh, that's my homie, that's my nigga, or hey man, that's one of the guys, or my brother, whatever. But for us, our lingo is not like that. Our lingo is not to be saying, "Oh man, look at what are SA or what are homes." That was never our vocabulary where we from. Our trenches are real. So, and we grew up with everybody, especially in Cook County. When you're in Cook County, everybody that you know, that's how you meet everybody. You never hear nobody be like, "What's up, homes?" or "What's up, SA?" We together. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't separate race. We chill with the blacks, with the whites, whoever is, cool with us,
You want to talk about what part of Mexico is your family from?
Man, my family, my mom and dad, they from Guanajuato, Yuriria. So, like, that's basically like, well, I grew up here, so that's where my family's from,
You've been to Mexico before?
I never been, but I've been trying. I haven't even got my passport yet, but I'm about to get that.
When you do, what do you plan on doing out there, and where exactly in Mexico you plan going
Well, recently my grandma had came from Mexico. I never met my grandma ever. So she just knew. I just knew her by video calls, and phone calls and whatnot. And she finally got her visa to come. So when I finally go, I'm gonna go with my grandma. She's gonna teach me the ropes around there. Let me know what's going on. Trying to, see my roots.
Is your music mostly all in English, or do you also rap in Spanish?
I mean, most of my songs are English. Well, all of them basically. But I got some in the vault that I'm experiencing with, which is Spanglish. English and Spanish. So trying to see if I could really flow the same as I do in English.
And growing up, is there any like particular artists that you would listen to?
Man, I mean, growing up is, to be honest, I like Chicago artists a lot. So that's what really got me into the music too. So like Chief Keef and Lil Durk, and when I was in the Juvenile, I met Rondonumba9 there, because at that time he was fighting his murder case. So I met him there. So it's like, it was a cool thing it's a bad situation, but a cool thing to meet somebody that you listen to in the street. So yeah, mostly like Chicago artists are like the main ones.
If you had the opportunity to work with anybody, is there like any artist that you would be down to work with?
Man, I feel like it's only two that I work with that like I really love to work with. It would be Gucci and Lil Durk.
So you mentioned several artists. You haven't mentioned any Latino artists. Why do you think it's difficult for Latinos to come up in the rap game?
Man, I feel like the same way is like, I'm not saying, I'll say most of them wouldn't collab with black rappers due to the fact that they segregated, So a lot of like, I don't seen a lot of people from like LA segregate from black rappers because they say they don't want to be rapping with them or sign to them or whatnot. But I feel like when you do that, to be honest, rap is basically black owned, so they're gonna look at you like, well, he don't want to work with us, so why we should put him in the game, So I feel like that's the reason that it's hard for Latinos because some think that it's too good. They too good to rap with black rappers, and to be honest, reality, maybe a lot of black rappers think that a lot of Latinos are stealing the stories or whatnot. But if they look closely, we got the same stories. You know, we just different skin color.
The Latinos that are, I guess you could say, popping or got numbers, a lot of them are from New York, Cali, Texas, Florida. And out here in Chicago, our Hispanic population is really high. Why do you think there hasn't been one Chicago Latino rapper to really blow up?
Man, I feel like it's the envy, man. I feel like it's the hate, you know? Like, I feel like you got to go somewhere else to build that little persona of yourself or fan base. I feel like people in Chicago don't want to see you win. I mean, to be honest, it's because I feel like it's because of gangs, right? You got so many gangs that if you're one, the other one is not going to like you, and the other one is not going to like you. You got to be the same gang for them to be like, okay, I'm hearing this guy, I'm hearing this guy. Obviously, you're not going to want to hear somebody that's dissing your people. You see what I'm saying?
Due to the gang politics out here in Chicago, is it difficult to do shows here?
I feel like it's only difficult if you don't have nobody to protect you, you know? So, like, if you're there by yourself and you feel like you don't need protection, or not even protection, but like have your own people around you, then something might happen to you, you know? But I feel like that's the only reason that something happens. If you don't got your security or you don't got people that's gonna protect you, I feel like that's the only way that you won't be able to do nothing. Unless, like, you're big and they know that if they bring you around, it's gonna be some issue, then that's a different story.
So you being from Little Village,
Yeah.
in recent years, there's actually been a really big movement of blow up of a bunch of Latino artists coming out of Little Village. Do you want to talk about who were like the pioneers or the first Latino rappers to coming out of Little Village?
Well, I could say for like my side, you know, where we from, you know, our neighborhood, I'll say that I'm one of the first, right? But if you ask somebody else that's like the opposition, they'll say they first, you know? But how I looked at it is like I'm the one that did a feature with somebody that was big at that time. So I feel like once I did that, everybody just started coming out, rapping and doing music. But man, I know there was a lot of rappers that were probably rapping before me that I don't even know. But I feel like I was the first like Latino drill rapper that started the movement, you know? Maybe not like officially, but officially I feel like the one that started a wave, you know?
So around what year do you believe this was to be about?
Man, I'll say like 2012, 13, because that's when everybody was rapping. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, Chief Keef came out, and he was rapping about the shit that we was living. So it's like, you know, when you relate to so much music, you feel like you gotta spit it, you know? Like, I could say the same thing, but I'm gonna say it in our way, and I feel like that's how we came about.
So the first track you released was around 2012, 2013.
Man, the first track I released was in 2012, like the first month of, because the reason I remember is because I did it with my closest friends, and we were just fucking around, but we put it up and we released it.
So when this happened, how long after did you get locked up?
Man, so when I dropped my video, I'll say like 13, 14, and as soon as I dropped my video with Billy the Black, like 3 weeks, man, I got locked up for first degree.
And how long were you locked up for?
Man, damn near 3 years and a half. So I was 16, I was 17, and I came out when I was like 20, 21.
So as soon as you came out, you went back to the music, or did you take a pause for a moment?
Man, I went back to the music temporary, but I felt like at that time I felt like that wasn't my thing, you know, which it was, but I was just too caught up in the streets, you know, like I felt so much freedom when I came out that my priority was to do everything else but music. When I got locked up again, a year later after I beat my murder, And I mean, in my opinion, the police put a gun on me, right? But other police gonna obviously say they didn't, they did their job. But I got locked up for a gun that wasn't even on my person, you know? Like, I'm right here, and they found the gun, like, the back of the house or 3 houses away, and they just said that it was mine. So I basically did time for that. I did 3 years. They cut it in half, so I did, like, almost 2 years. When I came out, 2019, 20, that's when I started doing music again, and I dropped 4D.
So being in and out of jail and making the music, I noticed online that there has always been controversy within your name. Do you believe that you're as controversial as to what people made out to be online?
Well, look, there's people that don't like me, never gonna like me, always gonna shit on my name, you know? Whether it's good or whether they see me doing good or bad, they're always gonna shit on my name, you know? And I feel like that's the reason I'm controversy, because they'll start rumors about me, and they see that the rumors don't go their way, and people still fuck with me because of the strength of the person who I am, of how real I am. They get madder and they start shitting on my name more, start throwing more shit. I feel like the reason that my name goes in the dirt is because either other people gotta be miserable, you know?
Are you currently signed to any label? And if not, are you seeking anything like that?
I mean, right now, I feel like independent is the way to go. But if a deal do come, it gotta be a good numbers, you know? But I've been talking to a couple people, you know, from Atlanta and some from Miami too. But you know, we still talking, you know.
I also noticed that you're rocking a chain with you know, it's shining a lot. So you want to talk about your jewelry piece and what made you want to get it?
Man, this is my little brother, man. Unfortunately, like, when I was locked up for first-degree murder, he was locked up too, right? But me and him grew up together too, you know. We grew up, my brother knows his brother, you know, since kids. And when I shot my first music video, he was the first one there, you know. Like, he was in the video and everything. And I ended up getting locked up. He got locked up, and when I came out, he was already out, but he was on the ban. So I got out on 2016 October for that body, and on November 18, November 17, it was his birthday, and he passed away. You know, he passed away on his 18th birthday, so they killed him. So I just got out, so I didn't really had a chance to spend time with him, right? So ever since then, I've been having him on my chain. I have another piece, but I never wear it. I just, you know, have it up.
You want to let the audience know what is the first tattoo you got and at what age you got it?
Man, my first tattoo was this Chicago one, man. I was like 13, I think. One of my homies, you know, like, was fucking around, and he was coming up too, you know. He's a good tattoo artist, but at that time, you know, he was just practicing, and we kids, so I was thirsty for a tattoo. So the first thing I told him, man, just put Chicago. It's originally supposed to say Chirac, and I was supposed to get Illinois over here, all type of crazy shit, but I just got a Chicago and just ran with it.
So getting it at the age of 13, you never had anybody question you or ask you, like, how you get it or why'd you get it at such a young age?
Man, I feel like when I got it, like, I was hiding it a lot, you know, especially from school, because I didn't want them to see it and then get my mom in trouble, you know, so I used to just cover it up. But for a time after that, like, they seen it, and then I feel like they didn't even care. They just seen it. But I used to hide it a lot just for that.
So I noticed that you got, like, tattoos on your face.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what it is that made you want to get them and if they were painful or not?
Well, it's only, like, one is really important on my face, you know. The only one that's really more important is my son's name. I got my son's name right here. And I don't know, I got it, man. I always wanted to get it when I was locked up. He was born when I was in there, right? So there was a lot of tattoo man, when I was in jail. So that was the first one that I wanted to get. I wanted to get it big, but I couldn't find nobody to do it how I wanted it. So I just waited. And then this cross, I think that the reason I got this cross is like, I had a saying for it. It's like, you know how everybody always judges you and always gonna shit on your name. So in my opinion, how I got this cross is like, I'm sacrificed to society. So anybody could talk shit, anybody could judge, anybody could say whatever they want to say. It's not gonna bother me. And these two right here, this one right here and this one right here is some female. I think she's dead already. So
Being from the city, for you, what would you consider as your top 3 favorite Mexican restaurants?
man, well, I gotta go with my family's restaurant, man. My family's restaurant is for who know in Little Village, it's Taqueria Gomez. You know, it's right down 31st and Millard. That's my family's restaurant. And other than that, I like Aguascalientes. That's one, and definitely at Tortonico. I'll go eat there.
You got any upcoming projects?
Yeah, I got a project. It's coming up, man, but no name yet. But it's coming up.
You want to elaborate if there's going to be any features or how many tracks we can expect or any music videos?
It's gonna be, for a fact, it's gonna be 17 tracks, and yeah, I'm gonna have a couple features there, a couple local rappers from the hood.
Do you know when we can probably expect when this album might drop?
By the end of the summer.
Can you let all the fans and audience know where they go follow you on all your social media platforms?
Man, you could just follow me on Instagram, man, LST_Magick, and that's it.